Hello, welcome to February 27th, 2023. Today is a Monday, and it feels like it. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. This is something that I do every morning shortly after waking up. It's now 4:25 a.m. right now. I do this in order to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are laid out in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to remember the last 24 hours and to think about the challenges and the opportunities that I encountered during that time and how I met those, how I dealt or failed to deal with those and how I could do better. Just a little reflection on the activities of the last 24 hours relative to objectives and principles. After I recite the creed, I then go through a forecast of the coming day. What do I expect of this Monday? So let's get started. Just right. Yesterday was a good day. Nothing much to it. Sat in this little room with my dogs, mostly the white dog. This guy tends to hang out with Yumiko and during the day. The white dog hangs out with me. Do I feel a little down? I guess this is day 9. I'm tired of being stuck in this room. I did take a brief walk yesterday. Yumiko was taking the dogs out for a walk, and I said, I think I'll come with you. And I wore my mask and kept my distance, and we walked, and it was nice. Yeah, I'm restless for that. It makes me wonder how I'd handle getting really old, and if I was incapacitated and unable to move around, stuck in a convalescent home. Well, I think I'd adapt. That said, yesterday was a fun day, just restless. And I feel down right now because, not so much because of the containment, because of the full day of work ahead. In fact, this is the first full 5 days of work since I've been back from Japan. And because the anxiety arrived last night. It was the waves I could hear first at about 2:30 a.m. Suddenly some big waves arrived and they woke me up. I could hear them crashing. And then that reminded me you better worry about work. And I started thinking about work. The funny thing is, though, everything is going well at work. I have nothing to worry about at this time. Literally, things are going well. Yet, I sat there. I laid there in bed, listening to those big waves, pretending to worry. That's a good way to describe it. And that kind of brought my mood down, pretending to worry. Seems like I'm just built that way for this time of my life, which is going to kill me if I keep it up. I'm certain of that. Yet, keep it up I must. It's my duty. Okay, let's do the Good Life Creed. 7 objectives as follows. Number 1 is to be always ready to die. To have my life affairs and my relationships and my life's work in order. 2, to make good and effective use of my time. To not let my day slip through my fingers. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. To have a good creed that I can use that will help me to make best use of the days and to get through and leverage the tough ones and to capitalize and enjoy the bad ones, the better ones. 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions, to become someone who reacts well to the challenges of the day. 5, to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day, things that are in accord with the objectives of virtue. 6, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I'm not striving for things in vain, nor missing out on opportunities that are real. And 7, my final objective is to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Now, for my 34 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war, to always be prepared to fight against what I think is true and what proposals come to me as candidates for truth. 2, the principle of reason, and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, doubt, and humiliation. To use reason as my principal tool and implement in the pursuit of virtue and the pursuit of good living. To be honest with myself, objective in my view, a fierce skeptic, and ready to embrace the humiliation of discovering that I'm wrong. Number 3 is the homunculus, a reminder that I don't have a soul, but I do have a consciousness. And then the home of good and evil. The anchor hold. That's the next one. The anchor hold is a simple reminder that my homunculus, my no soul, my consciousness will die with me and be utterly wiped out, and there'll be nothing left upon my death. Then comes the home of good and evil. Right and wrong are just mere opinions, subjective at best, at their core. Objective when you and I agree about ends that are in alignment with the facts of the world, but subjective still at their core. No absolute right or wrong. Next comes the principle of purpose. My 3 purpose in life are: 1, to be a good father and husband; 2, to be a virtuous man, pursuing the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures; and 3, to have my own personal purpose, which I like to be the marketing and the sharing of the message in my story of going alone. Next comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, including us, and we're all falling to pieces. And then the principle of nature. Everything and everyone has some particular nature, and it's good to recognize what that is so that we can live in a better accord with that. Then comes the pirate ride. My belief that free will is an illusion. We're not destined, but we are compatible with the universe. Then comes the principle of maturity, and the sub-principles of wisdom, fortitude, and integrity. Maturity is that state we arrive at when we have the wisdom of our past successes and failures, the remembrance of these, and then the fortitude to do better. And then we can enjoy a life of integrity where our actions and results are in alignment with our values. Then comes the social principle. We are social creatures, we need each other. And the sub-principles here are diplomacy, justice, and conspiracy. Diplomacy, where we work together towards a better definition of what constitutes the good city. Justice being the aim we strive to achieve, and conspiracy our endeavor to link arms and make that reality our own. Next comes the principle of family. It's an offshoot. It builds upon the social principle and suggests that it's good for us to have a nucleus of people in our lives that can form our centerpiece. And then comes public speaking, a reminder to be careful about my communication, both my speaking and my hearing and my writing, to cultivate a good vocabulary to have the best words available for any circumstance, to work towards the prudence, how to exercise prudence, to be careful to filter my communication through my values so that it reflects the man that I want to be. Felicity, seasoning my communications with my emotions to give them life and humanity. Eloquence, the state to be arrived at through practice and modeling. And then the things to avoid are rumors, spreading rumors and engaging in gossip, which are sins, as I'll mention later. Next comes temperance, the ability to control our consumption of all things, and the sub-principles are suffering, simplicity, and apathy, because we suffer when we tell ourselves no. And a simple life is a temperate life, and apathy is the ability, the skill that we can acquire to withhold our application of connection or engagement, moreover, with the things that are outside of our control. Next comes, life will not go well, and it won't. That's going to have speed bumps and good days and tough days. Like for me, today's a tough day. Next comes the horror show. Sometimes the bad days become horrible days, horrifying days. Expect that. And be on the alert for others that are going through their horror. It's happening all around us. And it's coming for each of us. Arriving at your life soon. Mine too. Next comes the principle called that which must be borne, with an E, carried. And what we have to bear is the fact of the horror show and that life will not go well. Then comes the feast of woeful, the ability to control our expression and consumption of pain. Holding it in and not voyeuristically consuming the upset of others. Next comes a distraction. It's what we do so that we don't have to see that there is no God. We distract ourselves with our work and our play and our school and our families and our hobbies and our sports and our religion and our God. Closing our eyes to the emptiness. Telling ourselves that we'll be here forever. It works. I mean, people get through their entire lives with that. Seems rather dishonest to me, though, when the emptiness is apparent all around us. And that emptiness I label the next principle, by the way, is the great indifference. The emptiness that pervades everywhere. The absence of God, which is evident if we look. I sound like the religious, don't I? You can find it if you just look. But I won't ask you to believe. I'll ask you to go discover, to go alone. Okay, next comes the best seat in the house, to be all right with who I am and where I am and what I'm doing, all while striving to be better. Then comes the restless man, the sense that we want something more out of life than the workaday world, the family world, the safe and sane, the prescribed, that restlessness for adventure. And when we step away from the safe and sane and onto that, in the direction of that adventure that we want, we enter what I call the path of wildness, which is easy to find. It's the course of a stream, leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, and the direction of our first inclination. It's the path I'm on now with my wife as we prepare to go back to Japan. The path of wildness is a sweet, rich, and exciting place, also scary, also full of risk. The great life adventure, the next principle, is the yield of stepping upon the path of wildness. It's what we get as a result. Something, in some ways, of intangible value, but maybe our own truest treasure yet, besides our family, or maybe in equal measure with them. Next comes the risk of avoiding risk, the balancing act between too much safety and too much adventure, finding somewhere in between. Then comes sin and damnation. There are 8 sins in my worldview, all related to being untrue or believing things that are untrue or being a damned rumor-mongering gossip. These 8 are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, rumor, and gossip. Engage in any of those and we've sinned against well-being, sinned against reason, sinned against sound living, truthful living at least. Next is complete oblivion. After death, there's nothing to follow. With no God in the universe and no soul, emptiness and dissolution await. As such, if there's nothing to follow after death, then there'll be no reunion with the ones we love. We'll never see them again. No reconciliation of differences, because we'll never see them again. We won't even be. And there'll be no final justice, because there is nothing to follow after death, and no one to dispense any justice. It's a grim and sober perspective, but it can be enlivening to the here and now if accepted and lived. And a life is built according to that. It can be a good life, a rich life, deep life, and then be ready for death when it finally comes, having not postponed anything for an afterlife that's hoped for, or postponed very little at least. Less, at least, at that. Okay, next comes, the COVID still got me. It's still scrambling my brain a little bit. After complete oblivion comes the season of philosophy, maybe? Time in life to have the pen and paper ready to record what words may come. I think I'm missing one. Let me go to the book. All of these principles and objectives are listed in my book. The Great Life Adventure, The Risk of Winning Risk, Sin, Damnation, Complete Oblivion. See, it's all laid out here, each of the principles and objectives, and a description of them. The season of philosophy is next, and then comes the next one that's in here is the bullseye aim, but in fact, this is an old copy. The next one is script writing, the ability to run in our mind a plan of what's to come through the day and through our lives. Then comes the bullseye aim, striving for the mark, but remembering we rarely miss. We rarely hit it, that is. The uphill climb, completing the day higher up the mountain of life than yesterday. More expansive view. A mountain that goes really nowhere but up. That's funny. Nowhere but up. Arena and utility. Life is an arena for the development of good objectives and principles that we can use in the pursuit of better living. Nothing is enough. A reminder towards less. A suggestion towards less. And then finally, the principle of fun. Reminder to try to have a good time through the day. To enjoy life. All right, I made it through. I didn't do the lightning round. I tried to do the whole thing. I think I did a pretty good job. Let's plan for the day. I've got my little list here. It's February 27th, 2023. I've got 2 columns, one for work. See, I write 2 columns, one for work and one for personal stuff. For work, I'm going to I do a little list here. I'll do my email. I already feel better. The anxiety at work starts to wash away as soon as I start doing work. Then I'm going to do, for my one project, I'll do a check of Wave 3 status. It's a pretty simple list. Wave 4 status, and in particular, I want to know how they're doing with their content review. And then wave 5 status, I'll need to set up the communications and content review, and then I'll need to set up communications for that. And then the links review is done. Links is done. And then wave 6. After that, I want to work on the video for the Connect project. Connect video. I need to get a clip from Juan. I think that's all I need to work on today. And then for the personal stuff, I need to do my taxes, but I'm not going to do it today. Jeez Louise. Kurt, I promised my accountant last week I would do it. But maybe after work I'll do that. I'll add it to the list because it was on my list all weekend. It got kicked like a soccer ball through from Friday to Saturday to Sunday, and I feel guilty about it. I would have felt better if I'd done it. And then the tea shipments, but Yumiko's taking care of that. But I need to get her started on that, help her to get started. But I'll do those things. The personal stuff I get done after work, in the evening. That's it, right? Okay. I think I've got my day laid out. What problems, what challenges might I encounter? Well, the big one is the one that's going on right now, which is that I feel like crap. And I know how to get through this. I need to, as Emerson would say, do your work. So I'll finish this. I need to write that down too. Forgot. I need to read the Bible. Yesterday I finished the book of Job yesterday. So, not the book of Job, the book of Joel. Today I'm going to start on the book of Amos. So I'll have to read the introduction part there, and then I'll jump into Amos 1. I think that's that for that. So I'll do that. I'll feed the dogs, let them out, and start my day in earnest. I don't want to do this. I'm not ready for today. Damn Mondays. It really feels like a Monday. Yeah. Oh well. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. And with that, my life is done, if not finished. Take care.